You may hit it.
I already did.
Welcome everyone to another live edition of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin here with my co-host James Haskell and of course DK helping us out in the background. And boy, are we excited 2 days before Christmas, knowing we got football coming up. Not so sure how fair this might be for the guys actually playing in the game, but selfishly as a football fan, I'm excited about football all day, Christmas Day. Can't wait for it and can't wait to talk about it. But Jimbo, before we get started, who is this episode's sponsor?
Yeah, you guys already know. BetOnline, of course, continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds, of course, to in-game live betting, which I'm sure is a lot of fun. BetOnline, of course, provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen with the largest selection of odds, not the second largest. This is not a Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant situation. This is a Michael Jordan situation with the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, and college basketball, NHL to the UFC. Head to BetOnline today, and don't forget to use promo code BLEAV, BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. Top two, not two, baby. BetOnline.
Let's go. That's all they know to do to continue to be number one. And look, this is you talk about number one. The Ravens, they might not track down the number one seed, Jimbo, but they did a whole lot to get themselves back in position to win this division and secure a home playoff game. But the work is not over, and it really extends into this coming week. They have to – it's like one of those sayings that last week's win doesn't mean anything if you blow it this week and lose and allow the Steelers to regain their position atop the AFC North. So we're going to get into it. I know before we get into the show, we do want to talk a little bit about the different scenarios in which the Ravens can either change seed and who might their first round playoff matchup be. But are we getting right into that right away, Jimbo? Is that the plan?
No, so I think the plan is, well, of course we got to give some updates. We'll do our with our injury report. And then I think let's run through our stuff for the game. And then we'll get into scenarios at the end. Is that cool?
Do the scenarios at the end? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. That way we can kind of give the folks the meat of the show. But just really quickly, as far as notes, we're getting injury report, of course.
Yeah.
Diontae Johnson, we already know he's released. We're talking about him again, and I never want to talk about this guy again in my life. But he is now a Houston Texan. Generally you say good for him by default. Whatever for him. Like, I'm not good for him. Good luck to the Houston Texans. Good riddance. Diontae Johnson, looking forward to seeing your bum self in a couple days here on Christmas. But that's about all I got to say about that. Unless you're feeling relatively passionate, I'm saying move on and let's not waste any more airtime on it.
Well, I mean, I will say that this is obviously response of Tank Dell's, horrible injury. Feel bad for the guy. I don't know the extent. I heard somebody say it may have been some sort of compound fracture, but I also heard he tore some stuff as well. So it sounds like he's got a long road to recovery. And, of course, them losing Diggs earlier in the season makes sense that they would go after a guy who has talent. But, geez, Louise, are you surprised, Jimbo? Apparently the other team that submitted a claim was the Chargers. What the hell is Jim doing? I know he had to have asked John what the hell happened in Baltimore, and he still was willing to submit a claim. That kind of was a head-scratcher. In fact, the Chargers were the only other team to submit a claim. No other contender tried to. But also, Jimbo, was there any, as far as best case, like, not that I fear him at all, and any, like, he doesn't know any, I saw somebody put a meme out earlier, like, all right, they're going to get Diontae and go, all right, what do you know about the Ravens? And he's going to be like, I think Lamar likes soda, and John has grayish hair. Like he's got nothing. He learned absolutely nothing when he was here. He can give no insider information or tendencies, nothing. But I still am happy he went to the Texans and not, for some reason, not the Bills or the Chiefs. Why is that, Jimbo?
Well, I mean, why are you happy that he didn't go there? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, why do I feel a little like, oh, okay, I'm glad.
Well, probably because you don't fear the Texans, number one, and you might have a healthy respect for the other two teams. But two, because, look, we're going to have to play both of them if we want to get to the Super Bowl, most likely, right? Like, not guaranteed, but I'm going to bet that the Bills lose in the first round. You heard it here.
You know what? You'll probably be freaking right because you tend to be right about these things, Jimbo.
Yeah. And could it be to the Chargers too, right? They could match up with the Chargers potentially?
Yeah.
If it's the Chargers, book it. It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over.
Greg Roman's going into the vault.
Oh, dude, think about it. That game's going to be below 20. Bills ain't winning.
It's an LA team.
What do you mean? No. Below 20 score. You know how the Chargers have been doing it this year?
Well, the temperature might be below 20
No,
also.
that's true. No. But you said like score-wise.
Right.
Yeah, not
limited possessions. But it's gonna be cold up in Buffalo, no doubt. But yeah, Texans get Diontae.
Good for him. Good riddance.
Like he said, I'm not mad about that sentiment either. But all right, so should we get right to the injury report here?
Yeah, let's go to the injury report, and then we'll walk through the game stuff, and then we'll get to our over-unders, and then we'll do the playoff machine. Is that cool with you?
Sounds good.
Okay, cool. Let's do it. All right, so let's start with the Ravens. Of course, it's a short week, like we all know. Nelson Aguilar, I'm sure, will probably also miss this game. I would be surprised if he comes back to practice. There's a chance, of course, but as of right now, he's out. Armour Davis out. Bo Braid came back to practice. Didn't Bo get some snaps in this past game?
Did he get snaps?
I think I saw him out there a couple times.
Jimbo, if anybody saw the post-game show, do you think I remember?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm a little concerned about Zay Flowers, but honestly, I think it's just rest. Justice Hill, I highly doubt will play after that really scary concussion. I think that Glenn was still sober when he saw that one because that was pretty early in the game.
Bad, dude.
Yeah. So look, and then Tre'Davious White. the ones I'm concerned about the most on this list, probably Zay Flowers, Falele, but I just think it's rest. I think it's what it is. I don't think this is actually going to cause them to miss the game. Are you concerned about any of these guys right now? I feel like I feel blessed that we're incredibly healthy.
Well, I mean, I guess I would need a little bit more clarity on what's going on with Falele. He's the one who has the biggest, concern. I don't want to mess up the cohesion of the offensive line, but hopefully it is just that. But this isn't somebody we normally see. I think it's an actual injury that he's dealing with. I do think something's going on. But yeah, and look, I don't think we're just like going to gloss over the fact that we might be without Justice Hill for. I mean, that was a pretty rough looking concussion. So that has me concerned going forward. Maybe not as much in this game, but certainly if this extends into the playoffs, or even if he's back but has some sort of after effects in the playoffs, that could prove to be an important injury for us, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, that's going to be a big one. He's an undervalued, I think, by the national media at large piece of this offense. So we'll hope for a speedy recovery for him and a full recovery, of course, as well. But let's talk about this Houston Texans team. I think everyone knows now about Tank Davis and the terrible injury that he went through. And of course, that had to do with Diontae Johnson being signed over there. Are there any names over here that you're considering, or I guess most impactful to them? Like, I don't know if Will Anderson, he was obviously limited today, so he's going to play, but he's a big time player. Any other names over here that you're,
I Juice Scruggs, I guess, it looks like he's not looking too hot with the foot injury. I have to see if that ends up becoming a thing. But other than that, I mean, it's big for them to have Mechie. Is it Michi? I always say Michi, but it might be Mechie. It's big to have him because he's the speed now on the team. Without Tank Dell, they don't have a lot of vertical. I mean, Nico Collins can do it all. Like he's everything, but I think you do need a little bit of extra juice opposite him. They can only help free him up. So a lot more is going to be on the shoulders of Michi as well as Nico Collins going forward for sure.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. All right, well, that's the injury report. Like we said, it's nice that they're short and sweet because the Ravens do have the benefit of health right now. Oh, wait. What are you saying, DK? It's Tank Dell. What? We talked about Tank. Yeah. Oh, what did I say? Did I say Tank Davis?
Did you say Tank Davis?
Dude. Oh. My bad, guys. Tank is healthy. Don't worry. Baltimore, do not lose your minds.
That's right.
Tank is doing okay. But Tank Dell is not. So
no, Tank Dell is not.
All right, let's get right to it and talk about these matchups. This is the way we're going to break it down today. We're going to talk about the Ravens offense, of course, versus the Texans defense. And Glenn's going to give us a breakdown on this historic offense, what we got going on, run through some stats. We'll talk about opportunities, threats, key players, and otherwise. Glenn, let's roll, baby.
Yeah, let's talk about this ridiculous. It still remains, I think, fourth all time as far as efficiency. What is the exact DVOA? They are fourth all time behind three pretty historic offenses. I think two of which were in New England. But as it stands right now, back over the 30-point mark, number 3 in the league in points per game at 30.1. Remain number 1 in yards at 423.7. Their first again in yards per play at 6.9. They're third in third down conversion rate, 48.2% of the time. 72.8% of the time in the red zone, however, they score touchdowns, which again, number 1 in the league. Yards per carry on the ground, 5.7. That's first. Yards per game on the ground, 181.2. That's second. Completions, let's see, 8.9 yards per pass. That remains number 1. And again, they're still number 1 in both, Jimbo. I mean, just absolutely insane with only 2 games left.
It's ridiculous.
Yards per game, 242. That's fifth. I mean, Jimbo, what don't they do well? I tell you what they don't do well. They're still getting bit by the penalty bugs still far too often. They have to get better in that regard. But other than that, it's hard to argue with what if you just took away the penalties, Jimbo, this offense is freaking almost perfect.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And there's really not much to say or to criticize, like you said, other than execution as far as penalties go. But yeah, really looking forward to this matchup. Now, why don't we do this, Glenn? I can run through some of the Texan stats, and then we can get to our matchups, opportunities, threats. Otherwise, does that work for you?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. So on the other side of the ball, of course, we have the Texans defense, who look really good in some categories, not great in some others, but and it's up to the Ravens to take advantage of those. They're 9th in the league at surrendering points at 22 a game. Now this is where I think, they're 8th in the league. So top 10 in third down conversion, but they are, Glenn, red zone conversion. They're 27th in the red zone scoring percentage of the opposing offenses. They're 27th in the league at 64% of the time. Is that bad or what? Pretty bad. Yeah. So in the red zone, 64% of the time, the opposing team scores.
And we're number 1 in the league in that.
And think about this. They're in the worst conference or the worst division in the conference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, right.
Not good.
Not great for them. Let's see here. Rushing, defending the run. They're 11th in the league. They're giving up over 100 a game at 107. And then passing, they're 6th in yards surrendered in the air at 205.5. So, look, these guys have got some bumps and bruises. They're not a terrible defense. Certainly, I don't think they're world beaters either, right? Like, this is certainly not the Steelers defense by their wildest imagination, right?
Yeah. No.
So, I think there's definitely some threats and opportunities for the Ravens to take advantage of.
Yeah, and it looks like, look, I'd love to know the pronunciation here, Jimbo. Do you want a shot at it since?
Oh, yeah. I know this guy. Henry, it's Do'o. They don't say it like that on TV, but that's what it is.
I believe you. No, you said it, I think, exactly correct, Jimbo, but I'm not going to try because it's probably going to come out bad. But look, they got some edge rushers, Jimbo. We knew this heading into the year that them picking up Danielle Hunter was going to be a big one. And, man, look at that. 12 sacks for Danielle. Will Anderson Jr., the second-year player, 10.5 sacks in just his second year. I mean, they got a front that can get after you. They got Stingley Jr., who's one of the best young corners in football. Last time we saw these two, he I believe followed Flowers, if I can remember correctly. So I expect to be much of the same, or maybe we shouldn't, Jimbo. Do you think there's any growing opinions around the league that might start looking at Bateman, at least in certain situations, as the favored target or the guy you want to take away? Like, do you think Bateman starts to inch into the brain of a defensive coordinator and going, you know what? In certain moments, he might be more important to guard than Flowers.
I see what you're saying. Certainly in the red zone, I think. I mean, he's got double the touchdowns, and he's got an 8 or 9, and Flowers got 4. So yeah, there might be some scenarios. That's a good point. Just more stress on the defense, baby.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. He showed very little, if any, wear and tear after being spotted with the boot on. He looked pretty healthy out there against the Steelers and made obviously huge plays. So watch out for that guy to continue to do so. They got two players with 5 interceptions, including that guy, Derek Stingley, who I just mentioned, and then Kalen Bullock, their safety. So look, they got some players on this team that can absolutely get after you. They're led by a head coach in D'Amico Ryans. that looks like he could still absolutely play to this day. In fact, my brother, remembering him as a player, was like, oh, D'Amico's hurt. Last time or his rookie season coach, and I went, no, D'Amico's not hurt. D'Amico is the coach now, my man. It's crazy how stuff happens very quickly, and especially as you get older, you see guys you used to watch play coaching. Don C, the legend that is Don C, gifting 5 410 Sports Talk memberships. Appreciate
5 410 Sports Talk memberships.
And a partridge in a hair. My man, appreciate it, Don. And Merry Christmas to you.
Donnie boy.
Appreciate Victoria coming out here as well. Appreciate you. Merry Christmas, and Merry Christmas to you, Sean. Thank you very much. And appreciate all the had kind words in the comment section last week's episode, as I was clearly, in a whole nother atmosphere. That was an insane night.
Yeah, who let you in the show?
Bro, all I know is I behaved myself for being 3 sheets to the wind. I did pretty good. I had to rewatch it. I was like, okay,
wasn't that bad? To be honest, Glenn, the worst part was nothing to do with what you said, except when you asked Katie the interception. You're like, what's that? I'm gonna have to go back and watch that.
Oh yeah, I did.
I was like, well,
I did. I had to go watch the highlights.
Oh yeah. Because that was towards the end of the game, so it makes sense. That you
shout to Marlon, bro. Great play. Great play.
That was pretty funny, dude. DK and I were cracking up at that one. We both made a face. We were like, "Oh boy,
dude." That was that was the end of the game.
Yeah.
I don't remember leaving the bar.
Oh boy.
But look, I don't do that very often. I haven't done that in years. So every now and then I get out and stretch my wings, as they say. But Jimbo also wanted to point out a couple. Hold on, actually, never mind. This is going to be for when we flip things and talk about.
All right,
the opposite direction.
Cool. Sorry. Well, let's talk about. We talked about our offense against their defense. It looks like there's some opportunities to take advantage, and one of them I already mentioned is a clear opportunity is that they are 27th in the red zone. My question to you, Glenn, is that this could change the landscape of the game. You think we can get up early on these guys? Do you think that's a high likelihood?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Texans have I think they're going to have a little bit of a little brother complex. They have to remember the last couple of times, even though it seems like, bless you, by the way, a lot of people forget the playoff game between these two teams, but embarrassed them, Jimbo. Absolutely bent them over the knee and spanked their bare ass. And so I don't think they're going to come into this game with a ton of confidence. And I think if the Ravens don't shoot themselves in the foot early with turnovers or silly penalties, I think they're going to move the ball and put themselves in a position to take the lead. And man, I'm just so impressed with our defense. Look, we're going to talk about it in a little bit, but I'm liking where this defense is going, Jimbo. And I think if we get an early lead, it only adds to the pressure that's going to be on this team.
Exactly.
And I think it helps the defense, but also the Texans struggle big time against scrambling quarterbacks. When they call certain guys scrambling quarterbacks, even though Lamar has had way more success from the pocket than most, he's still in that category. They give up 9.3 points or yards per play, do the Texans, to scrambling quarterbacks. That's 26 in the NFL. That's not good. And the reason being is they play a ton of man coverage. They like to put Stingley on your best guy and say, guard him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you have man coverage against Lamar Jackson, you turn your back, he's just going to take off if he wants to. If he wants to, he'll just take off for an early and easy first down. So I think we will have success on the ground, and I think we'll have success through the air. But particularly, if there's not a lot of separation, I think he's going to take off and get more on the ground than we've seen from him in recent weeks, where we haven't seen a ton of him taking off and picking things up on the ground. So I think that is certainly an opportunity that we could take advantage of. Like you said, Jimbo, they're not a great defense, but they are good. I don't think they're Stingley's no slouch. So I think I wouldn't recommend attacking him, but I do think there's other guys on the outside, even with the depleted wide receiver core to some degree. I think we can take advantage of guys on the outside and move the ball there.
Yeah, I think the key too is let's just stick to the script, right? Not the literal script. I'm not an NFL conspiracy theorist, but let's stick to the Ravens script, right? Look, the prescription worked in the Steelers game, right? The medicine worked. It's over the counter, but it's called 22.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you take it 24 times a game.
Yep.
And usually results in 162 yards 6.8 yards a carry or whatever.
Lots of happiness.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So, look, I think that the Ravens offense doesn't have to do anything amazing. They have to stick to what they know, stick to what works. And I'll tell you what, I'm really excited about that. That's my offensive matchup, right? They're ranked 11th against the run. It isn't terrible, but Derrick Henry could really have another big game. So their defense against our running offense is going to be a fun one to watch because just like you said, Glenn, if we put points up early and if we can execute in the run game, this puts this game out of reach early, which of course would be devastating for Texans, but I don't care about the Texans fans right now.
Do they have anything to play? Like, I'm wondering.
Because they have the spot sealed up, right?
Like, you said it. Their division's trash. It's garbage. Like, like, you talk about battle tested?
Yeah.
They are the opposite of battle tested, Jimbo. They play absolutely no one that's any good. Has Snoopy been there? I think my wife added Snoopy. I just noticed Snoopy.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Because I saw the Tanya pointed out the Nutcracker, but and there's another one down on the other side over here on the same shelf where the Orioles is. See it, the other one?
I see that. Yeah, I see that. She's mixing it up here, Jimbo.
She is.
But yeah, I don't think this team's very battle tested. I don't think they know what's going to hit them. I think it's quite unfair. I will say, Jimbo, just from like a hypocrisy standpoint that this NFL likes to act like they care about injuries. And now this is their third game in how many days? What are we talking? 10 days. And in the middle of that, the middle game in that is the Steelers matchup. Like, it's just absolutely crazy. So like Axel, I think saying no injuries, like just come out of this game injury free, which when you're already, low on rest, the body might not be back to that 100%. That's when that type of stuff can happen. So I certainly hope they can get through it. But also, Jimbo, I want to ask you, everyone type now, 11 for 11 after the bye week is Justin Tucker. You said you've seen it. You said he's back. You said it's that swing, that pendulum's looking good. Still feel that way?
Yeah.
Still feel great.
Yeah. I mean, he's swinging. Look, he's just not focusing on the velocity of the swing, I think was the biggest thing. It's just not a focal point for him anymore. So
do you think taking him off kickoffs helped it up? Because he was asked about it, and he said, look, Stout can boom it. He said, sure, I could hit it as far as him if 1 out of 5 times. I was like,
I saw that.
Tucker's already admitting it. Okay, but
it's not needed.
That's true. He's a bigger guy.
Stout. Yeah. I mean, it's look, it's the same thing. Like, let's not focus on how hard you hit the ball. Let's put the ball between the uprights.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So yeah, I'm happy with where Tucker's at.
And then before we move on from the offense here, Jimbo, I got to ask you, Dave H said it in the comments. Do we see Keaton Mitchell back in this lineup with the absence of Justice Hill?
Well, Glenn, you set me up, man. You set me up, and I'll knock it down, dude. Keaton Mitchell is my X factor, my offensive X factor this game. Yeah, because obviously he's going to be out. Justice Hill's going to be out. And we've talked about it. Keaton still might be a little bit away, but now it's almost like Keaton's out, his opportunity to say, welcome to the NFL all over again, right? Like, because he's been out for a while. People won't have tape on him for this year. Certainly not in the second year of this offense. So look out. I'm saying Keaton Mitchell has nothing crazy, but I'm going to say plus 50 yards.
Okay.
He's going to have one that is he's going to break a 20-yarder.
Like a catch or a run?
A carry. Like a sweep or something like that.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to get out like in front of my skis, you know what I'm saying? But feel good about it.
Get crazy, bro. Make some wild predictions. I love it. So DK thinks he's more of Rasheen Ali. And look, he's been getting the run as of late. He's been getting the primary kick return duties in a lot of games. And so I wonder if that could be more of the same as they let Keaton continue to heal. But hey, I hope you're right, Jimbo. I hope we see that explosiveness because look, what I've seen from Rasheen Ali, I've never once gone, wow, okay. Like, he had that one kick return where he kind of almost got out of it. But Keaton Mitchell was like from the start of training camp, like, who is that dude? Like, so I would much rather see a healthy Keaton Mitchell taken off at this point than Ali. But I tend to think he's right. Now, I'm going to give mine here, Jimbo. I think we see a lot more heavy sets in this one because Justice Hill is such an important part of what we do when we come out with a lighter backfield and more of a spread out system. I think we see more 2 tight end sets, and we see a lot of Derrick Henry. And because of that, I'm going to say Isaiah likely has a big breakout game. I think he has a 25-yard plus touchdown catch in this game. And I think it's only going to be for, 8 to 10 air yards. And I think the rest is just what he does with the ball in his hands. I think he continues to be underutilized as far as a guy that has just tremendous yak ability that we just have barely scratched the surface on to this point. And I think, I just heard on, I think it was Marlon's podcast. He talked about, do you know how Kohler broke his arm, bro?
No.
Dude, Derrick Henry ran into him running a play, bro, and broke his
You know how many people Derrick Henry has injured this year?
He just runs into people and breaks shit on them. Like, I'm like, no, friendly fire, Derrick. Stop it, bro. It's like video games where you can turn friendly fire off to where even if you hit your guys, it doesn't hurt them. We need to be able to turn Derrick Henry friendly fire off, where if he runs into our guys, he doesn't hurt us. Like, it's Pat McAfee. Okay. So, it's Andrews. That's right. Andrews shared that on Pat McAfee. Okay. That's right. Thanks for refreshing the memory there. Yeah. Like, so Derrick Henry even breaks our own guys when he runs it.
Jeez,
absolutely crazy. But yeah, I think Isaiah likely takes advantage of a heavier personnel group and gets his way into the end zone here, Jimbo.
I like it. Love it. Let's go, baby. All right. So let's see. Let's switch to the other side of the field. I'll give a breakdown on our surging defense. I know that you're really excited about our defense, Glenn. Quick breakdown, of course. Baltimore Ravens are now 19th in scoring at 23 points a game. We are 23rd at 3 point. What the heck? Third down conversions at 41%. 16th in the league at red zone, allowing a touchdown in the red zone at 57.7, called 58%. Look, still first in the league in rushing, only allowing 83 yards a game. 31st, still 31st in the league in the air at 254. But trends, Glenn. What's got you so excited about our defense?
Well, first of all, it continues to be like something that I don't know why it doesn't feel this way, Jimbo, but we're second in the league in sacks. Like, and all year, every time we check this number, we're right at the top of the league. And yet it doesn't always feel that way. And it's probably because we don't have that name. And it's probably because they keep benching Oweh, even though, anyway, all right. It just, because we don't have that name, that flashy edge rusher, it continues to be overlooked, the kind of pressure we actually are putting on teams. The fact that we just stopped allowing big plays, just eliminated big plays for everyone, which was just plaguing this defense. We decided to just start tackling. I mean, it's been a beautiful thing. Like, I remember watching Brandon Stevens flail about on someone's hips as he slides off and ultimately lets the guy run down the sidelines. We just don't have that happen anymore. And I think part of it's also, the change up an inside linebacker, but also when Roquan Smith mentioned this, Jimbo, it blew my mind. He said since Kyle Hamilton has moved to the back end of the defense, he no longer has to turn around to communicate to them that Kyle Hamilton. That just tells me that even when Marcus Williams was playing well, he still had to turn around and make sure the communication was put throughout and that isn't the case anymore with Kyle Hamilton. So I think that's why everybody's playing so much faster. We're not seeing these communication busts on the back end like we were in the early part of the season. I am just so enthusiastic about this defense. It's absolutely crazy. Marlon Humphrey has become the most clutch defender in football. If you look at all his turnovers, not a single one is a wasted calorie, Jimbo. Not a single one is in trash time, in bullshit. Every single one was meaningful. I mean, you're talking down 14 points in a Thursday night against the Bengals. He makes the game-changing play.
Yep.
The game sealing and ending pick 6. I mean, I had the list pulled up, and I wish I had it right now. Every pick was a meaningful play. This guy's playing unbelievable football. And then Ardarius Washington. I mean, holy smokes, this guy finds a way to make a play every week. He puts the big hit on Russell Wilson last week after a really nice scramble by Russ. Puts the ball on the ground, game-changing play. Our defense is just way, way better at this point than I ever thought it would be in week 3, 4, and 5. Like, There's no way I would have thought we'd be in this position, Jimbo, with just really not changing much other than taking bench guys and making them starters.
Right. Yeah. Well, and Tom Brady said in the game, he said that championship teams know how to solve problems mid-season.
Yes.
And that's dude, shout out to Tom Brady, by the way.
Yes.
Every year I said it, every year I get older, the more I like Tom Brady, and I hate that I like Tom Brady.
He makes it hard. Oh,
shout out to G. Isaac. Merry Christmas, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Oh,
very much appreciated.
You are a legend. Thank you, G. Isaac.
Yes.
Can we get a Merry Christmas to G. Isaac in the chat here? What an amazing thing. Appreciate you, G. Isaac.
Yeah,
man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. But as far as the stats go, real quick, Jimbo.
Oh
did we give Houston's defense
offensive stats? I gave the defense. You got to give their offense now.
All right. Offense 23.1 points per game. That's 13th. Yards per game, they're 20th at 323. Yards per play 5.1. That's 22nd in the league. Third down conversions 15th at 38.2%. Red zone scoring, they're 22nd at 52.9%. Man, that's amazing how they're 20% lower than the Ravens. Holy Actually, more than that. Holy. Yards per carry on the ground, 4.2. That's 17th in the league. Yards per game, 109. That's 18th. In the air, yards per game, they are 18th, 213. What the hell happened to CJ Stroud? Like 200 yards a game, bruh? Get it together. Get it together.
I ain't mad at it.
I mean, I'm not mad, but it's like, damn, dude. Like, after that promising of a rookie year, I think he's been a little bit of a disappointment. And I know they've had some injuries that they've had to deal with, but who hasn't? I mean, every team does. Quickly, just want to throw this up here, Jimbo. This is what we're dealing with from a statistical standpoint. CJ Stroud, 19 touchdowns, 11 picks.
Not great.
I mean, what are we, 37-4? Like, that's a big difference.
That seems like a lot. He's been sacked 47 times this year?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Jimbo. He has been sacked 47 times. That's second most behind only your favorite quarterback in the league. Can you guess?
Josh Allen.
No, let me tell you, the guy who you said before anyone was not good. He runs around like this is high school ball. He's not going to get away with it in college.
What about Caleb Williams?
Absolutely.
Doo-doo on a stick, dude.
The only quarterback sacked more than CJ Stroud is Caleb Williams, who runs around like he has no idea what's going on. Stroud is pressured on 36% of his dropbacks. That's 31st in the league. I'm sure you can guess who's 32nd. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, so the Ravens are second in sacks, and he's the second most sacked quarterback.
Let's go, baby. Hey, it's good for you.
Well, it's not good for me if I'm always sitting on the damn bench watching Ajabo get sacks and Tavius Robinson eat up his snaps. I mean, holy shit. But on the ground, Joe Mixon, 4.2 yards per carry on the season, 967 yards overall. He has 11 touchdowns, so shout out to him for that. And then on the ground, he adds 33 more catches for 291 more yards and a touchdown. Nico Collins is their stud. He's their best player. 15 yards per catch is absolutely insane. Six touchdowns. Let's not forget, guys, he missed quite a few games and still has 60 catches, averaging 90 yards a game. And then look, the next two guys, they're gone. Tank Dell, not here. Stephon Diggs, not here. Dalton Schultz becomes by far their best number two, most threatening target behind Nico Collins. He's a guy who can catch the ball in the end zone. He's a threat to move the chains, certainly on third down. And then John Mechie's their speedster now. Old Bobby Trees is on the roster, Jimbo. Bobby Trees. But yeah, not a lot of weapons that I think from a name standpoint you got to worry about outside of, you got Nico, Dalton Schultz, and Joe Mixon, and then Michi every now and then. He's only got 17 grabs, so it's like, yeah. Not a scary team, Jimbo.
No, they're certainly not a scary team. You're absolutely right. And I want to talk a little bit about some opportunities that this Ravens defense has, and it's to crack Diontae Johnson, dude. Give him a good lick.
Do you think he plays? I don't even think he plays.
I don't know. I mean, it's possible, and they're certainly thin, right?
They are thin.
So my thought is that, dude, I just realized I have a water cup. My son must have drank it.
Oh, no. Is there floating food bits? Oh, no.
I'm sitting down here guzzling it, dude.
Oh, kids are the worst with
Look,
back.
I'm like, I think the Ravens are.
I see so much just now.
Yeah.
Oh, DK is disturbed.
Yeah. Is it crazy that I'm still contemplating drinking?
I'm honestly surprised you didn't right away.
I'm pretty savage about that stuff, aren't I?
Yeah, you don't give a damn.
No.
No, I'd be shocked if Diontae plays, right? They just picked him
Yeah,
up
no,
today.
you're right. But it's still an opportunity.
Okay.
But I think the biggest opportunity is to get wind in their sails, right? Like put on another good performance against a playoff team, right? Like that to me is the true opportunity that the defense has here. And before we talk about otherwise, I also put our defensive matchup. I'm assuming he's playing as Diontae Johnson versus our secondary because I'm just envisioning Marlon Humphrey absolutely destroying this guy or him thinking he's caught one down the sidelines and Kyle Hamilton just wrecking him into tomorrow and him dropping it. So maybe that's just what I'm hopeful for. Maybe I'm being ambitious, but I also want to bring up my defensive X factor because you talked about him, and that is our Darius Washington. I don't know what he's going to do this game, but he's going to do something.
Mm-hmm.
One of three things is going to happen. Our Darius Washington will recover a fumble, he will get an interception, or he will lead the team in tackles. Like somehow one of those three things is going to happen because that's just what happens when our Darius is on the field.
Yeah, no, you're right. He always finds a way to make a play. It's a beautiful thing. And you mentioned Diontae, Jimbo. Let me ask you this. Brandon Welsh Sr. says it's worth the 15-yard penalty. What do you think?
Yeah.
Just tee off?
Yeah.
Just tee off once? Just
100%.
Hey, Ro, I'll pay the fine. Tee off. That's what John says to him. This headache, son of a gun. But also, Eddie Jackson was picked up. Thanks to someone mentioned it in the chat. Jax mentioned it in the chat that Eddie Jackson signed by the Chargers as they continue to add former Ravens to their team. Also, another shocker, like these guys didn't necessarily like. I don't imagine John's like, man, I hope we can get these guys back in the future. Like, I'm just shocked that these guys are being claimed by Jim. Like,
yeah,
yeah, Jimmy's immune system bumping it up. Yeah, oh yeah, he's testing his immune system. You know, he's keeping it on his toes. No doubt.
So much.
Oh, it's so much, dude. Don't hold it up to do it again because I'll have to.
Dude,
look
it looks
away.
like what it looks like when
much.
you feed your fish like their fish food.
Just the bottom of the.
It's so much.
The bottom of the tank it is way too much. Absolutely way too much. And you know what, Jimbo? Look, here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to come out here and go and lie to you and pick Oweh as my X factor because I don't believe it. I'd have to be lying to you, and I'm not going to do it, Jimbo, this close.
You're not going to
Christmas.
lie it into existence?
Nope, I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to choose to pick somebody else, and I'm going to say nasty Nate Wiggins gets an interception today or tomorrow, or no, the next day, off of CJ Stroud. They're going to test the young guy. They're going to say, look, we can get it over the young guy. We got Nico. I mean, we got Nico and we got Michi. No, he's going to bait him into one, and I think Nate Wiggins gets his hands on a football. I'm excited about this matchup. I think this is another opportunity for Lamar Jackson to tell everyone this propaganda machine that is ESPN and all these other talking heads that are trying to twist our arm into seeing something that we just we're not.
Stop making me squint.
Josh Allen is not the fucking MVP of this league, Jimbo.
Thank you, Glenn.
He's not
like. This is wild to me.
And you know what really pissed me off? It's guys that are supposed to be loyal to us, like Shannon Sharp. Again, just prove man, Shannon. He gets on there right on the heels of Lamar doing what he's doing, and after Josh Allen puts up a putrid 1 touchdown, 1 interception performance, and Dan Orlovsky convinces you that pick was an arm punt. I mean, I don't know what kind of propaganda machine is going on, but this is some bullshit. But then Unc goes on there and he says, well, last year you said the numbers, so this year the numbers are so much better, right? Well, last year you said the record is all that matters. The numbers don't matter when Josh Allen had the way better numbers. Does anyone do a little bit of research?
Right.
His numbers last year were trash. Josh Allen had 18 interceptions to Lamar's 7. Like, when we're saying that the numbers are better this year, it's because in every single statistical category, he's lapping this dude. He's absolutely embarrassing this dude in every category except for rushing touchdowns. In yards per attempt, yards per game average, rushing, touchdowns, he's crushing him. And yet they act like last year it was the same in difference in statistics. It's not even close. This is just obscene. It's absolutely obnoxious, and I cannot wait for him to have this and take advantage of this opportunity to just shut the. And you know what? I still think he'll win. Josh Allen's going to win MVP, and Lamar's just going to have an opportunity to make these voters look stupid and just
in the playoffs. In the playoffs,
Please.
we'll go up to Old Buffalo, slack them one, and then come on back home. But look, this is the other thing too, Glenn. Last year they were 11-6. The Ravens were what, 14-2?
Yeah.
Right? Or 15, whatever. We only had 2 losses last year, right?
I don't even know. Let me see. He was 12-3. I'm sorry. They were 11-6
right now.
Yeah, they were 11-6 last year.
We were 13-4.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a 2-game difference.
So, and there's still only a 2-game difference.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that it's just the record, right? Like, anyway, whatever. I think that is a stupid thing to say. Like,
just the touchdown interception ratio alone is so staggeringly different.
It's insane.
The yards per attempt.
You know what's crazy, Glenn? If you just forget the stats, just watch.
Yeah, well, that's something the national media has a hard time doing. And also, by the way, he's about to he's going to break the passer rating record too.
Yeah.
Like,
he's going to break in one season. He's going to break the passer breaking record. He's going to have his most touchdowns of all time in a season. And he's going to pass Michael Vick's all-time rushing record.
Yep.
And he's not the MVP? Jiminy Christmas. All right. Well, let's get into our competition, then we'll get into our machine. I'll let you guys go over last week's competition winners right now because I got to go pay the water bill.
Oh, all right.
All that water I was guzzling.
Oh, dude. You might want to put a couple fingers down the throat like I did out the back of on the side of Route 7 after leaving Looney's last week. Go take care of that. That was pretty disturbing to see. But all right, let's get into last week's competition results. I know the competition, at least in-house, has been heating up like absolutely crazy. I think the current standings before last week were DK has 6 and me and Jimmy each have 4, if that's what I remember correctly. Is that right? Okay. So having said that, either myself or Jimbo would have to go on an awful tear to even catch DK, but there's a chance with 3 games before this that we could actually pass if either one of us goes on a 3-game streak and pass DK. So let's get into this week's results, or this past weekend's results here, as we have a truncated week this week. Actually, you know, are we just going to put it up? Just put it up, DK. Just put it up. Son of a... You went 4 for 4? Which one did I get wrong? Oh, damn it. Well, there goes that idea. I guess we won't be catching. Oh, the kicks. It was the kicks. I lost it on the kicks. Oh, I lost it on the kicks, and it was my suggestion. I provided the bullet, Jimbo.
And I'm so glad you lost it on the kicks. Learn your lesson, bro. Don't doubt in 9.
I have never texted DK and asked if I could suggest an over-under.
Never.
And the one time I do it, ain't that some shit?
Yeah, well, it's what you get, buddy. Unfortunately, Glenn, you and I are both out of contention for regular season winners.
I know, but here's what I can do. I can still beat your ass, Jimbo. All right? And I did this week, too, but I know it doesn't count as a win, but I beat your ass, Jimbo. Don't forget that.
Hey, I guess if you ain't first, you're last.
That's right. That's right. Hold on. No. You can still be second. It's like Ricky Bobby's dad said, wait a minute. What do you mean? You ain't first, you're still second? Hell, you can even be 5th. All right?
Did you do the show winner, too?
No, we did not do the show
All
winner.
Right, let's do the show.
Let's get into it here.
Jake Little, 4 out of 4. Baby. Oh, shout out.
That's
How did
no
Jake...
little accomplishment.
That is, hey. And Jake, make sure to send your information via, was it YouTube, DK? Oh, he already sent it in. Okay, perfect. You know the deal by now, guys. Perfect. Oh, IG. Awesome. Thank you. We'll get that stuff out to you. But Glenn, let's get right into it and talk about this playoff machine.
Let's do it. Let's
go.
Let's see what it's actually going to be this weekend. What's the stakes? Do you have it or?
No. I'm talking about we got to do our competition. That's why I'm like already dancing in my head.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's get it.
DK, how long you gonna just?
To my on the bad block, trying to let they cast stock, homie, let them know you here. All my ladies that be mad high, get me off like mad lies. Shawty, let me get this clear. Okay, Baltimore the backdrop, rep it like a mascot. I'ma let them know we here. All my ladies.
Let's go. Let's get into it, DK. Let's get this first one up. Dun, dun, dun. Over under. Oh, competition is here. Yes. Number 1, Zay Flowers receiving yards 60.5. Over under. Glenn, I'm shooting from a hip on this one. What say you, my friend?
You know what?
Yeah.
Oh, you're shooting from it. So am I. Both of us are.
Except on one, but for the most part, yeah.
I'm going to say under here. I just think that Stingley's a formidable foe, and I think they will pick on the easier targets.
Okay. I like it. I'm saying over because it only takes one big play for Zay to just get 45.
But he needs 61.
No, I know, but like then it's just going to be dink and dunks. You know what I'm saying?
No, I know.
Like it's just one big chunk play to knock out so much of this.
Yeah.
So I'm going over.
All right. I say under, and I'll be right. Because you know how I know? Because DK said under.
Source of truth, baby.
I'm just gonna copy his answers and hope I beat him in the closest to the pin.
There you go. We should do that in the playoffs. Just copy him.
Copy him.
Make it go down to the closest
down to
the
it comes down to the yards every time.
Because I'm pretty sure DK is like the worst at the yards. Isn't that like the one part that he's bad at?
This is where we get him, Jimbo. This is new strat, playoff strat. You know the strats change during the playoffs. Don't forget that.
Hey, look, me and Glenn combined might be as smart as DK.
If we have our
really dig deep, we gotta dig deep.
I can't drink for at least a week leading up to it, and DK has to drink every day in the week leading up to it. I think then we have a chance. But yeah, I say under as well as DK. So let's move on to the next one. Isaiah Likely receptions. I love that you put this in here because let me tell you something. He's my 3.5 is a good one, man. I'm shooting from the hip here. I think he gets 3 and a touchdown. I'm going to say under. Under.
I'm going under as well because I think 3.5 is a lot for.
What's his high on the year?
I think we're going to run the ball a lot.
Like what game is he? What's his most in a game this year? Is it? Has he gotten to 4 in a game? I think that would be an interesting.
Yeah.
I think that would be an interesting one. Right, ooh, this is a good one. Ooh, buddy. I mean, have to, bro. All right, Ravens sacks 3.5. I say over. You have to. The second most sacked quarterback in the league, second most sacks for any team goes to the Ravens. Same. So over.
I said over as well.
Nice. DK says under. This is.
By the way, let me just say this. Everyone in the chat wants me to eat the Baconator. Like, can we start rooting for Glenn's heart health to improve? Instead of mine not improve? Like, can we just like get some like groundswell for Glenn to improve as a human being? Like, is that okay to do, or is that like faux pas? You know what I'm saying?
Nah, dude, they want
like I'm a one-man band over here hitting the drum, like, hey, you know,
people want anarchy.
Right, improve your health, live long and prosper, and everyone's like, no, eat the Baconator.
That's
pitchforks.
That's right. I love it.
Welcome to America, baby.
That's right. And look, Jimbo, I'm gonna be fine. I mean,
are you just telling yourself that?
That's what I tell myself every day. You're gonna be fine, I guess. I hope. I think. All right. So DK says under as well. So that's where he gets us. Next one, Ravens pass defense, 2.5 passes. Defense. Well, let me see. Are they going to get an interception?
No, it's going over because they're going to have to chuck the ball around a lot and try and make up because they're going to be playing from behind.
Yep, I agree. I say over as well because I do think they get 2 interceptions in this game. And then all they need is one more pass break.
Yeah. It definitely. Seems like I don't know. Maybe I'm being I'm misjudging this. Seems like pretty attainable. Like pretty likely this goes over.
And DK agreed with us, so I don't think it's one of those things where he's getting us. You know what I mean? I think this might have just been he set it a little too low.
We might need a handicap, Glenn, because he's creating the over-unders.
Yeah, but still, we get to put him in last. See, Jack says we want the Baconator. All right.
Yeah, I don't get it,
dude. You said all that, and it sounded great. We want the Baconator. Sorry, okay. Sorry, Jimbo. And guess what? That's what I'm rooting for too.
All I want is
hard health.
All I want is IG reel with Glenn finishing at the finish line like this. Dun 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 dun. You know, just triumph, right? Straight up triumph.
That could still happen, Jimbo. That doesn't have to die with this bet, okay?
Hey,
let's be honest. He's getting a 9.5, so he's going to get to 9.5, Jimbo. Let's just call it what it is. Let's call it what it is. You called it from the start, and I hate that you're right. First tiebreaker. I'm going to say they go over the total. Last week I picked under. Would I have been right? I don't even remember. No, we scored a lot. That's right. Yeah. We destroyed those dudes. Holy shit. Yeah. Never mind. Yeah. Never mind. All right. Well, I say over. I think I think the Ravens win the game. I think they win. I'm going to say they win 30-20.
Wait, what?
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
There's no way you did not see that.
I did not see that. I may have saw it, but it didn't even register. Yeah. Okay. Well, now I can't pick that score.
That's my score, ladies and gentlemen.
That's crazy. No, I honestly.
That's insane.
Yeah, honestly did not think.
You can just say 31-21.
No, I'm going to say 27-24 because I think they get a late bullshit touchdown. Okay. But either way, over. DK says under. And then yardage. Yeah, you know what? Sorry, not sorry.
Uh-oh. Wait.
I just put 5 yards underneath DK's total. Okay. I bet 395 to DK's 400 because you know what? This guy wins enough. This guy's winning enough. Yeah. What do you think, Jimbo?
Yeah, I'm going with 430.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. The highest total as usual.
Okay. Let's get some of these super chats here.
Yeah, let's get a couple of these super chats, then we'll get to the playoff machine, and then we'll be out of here and let you guys enjoy your Christmas and Christmas Eve, and we'll be back, of course, Christmas night. But KP says he's about to make a wish MVP, shameless for real. About to get a Make-A-Wish MVP. Yeah, no kidding, right? Like
it's just weird, dude.
It's just stupid.
Like, and to even compare it to last year when the numbers were like, all right, he had something better there, then Lamar had something better here, and then it's Lamar, and then one category at the bottom, rushing touchdowns because they don't have Derrick Henry.
Right.
It's really stupid. And he beat him head to head, and they just act like that didn't happen. Like they literally, I saw a guy. He beat the 2 best teams in the NFL, the Chiefs and the Lions. What the hell? Who's deemed okay record wise? But we beat y'all. He beat y'all. Anyway,
right.
It's insane. All right. Thank you, KP. Merry Christmas. Appreciate you. Tank says, I pondered my orb and foresaw Wiggy catching an interception off of Diontae next game.
See, he thinks Deontay's playing as well. Let's go, baby.
And he also thinks Wiggins is going to be the player of the game. You know what I mean?
I like
it. Sir. I love it. But I don't think Deontay's would he really play in 2 games? He better. He's going to bitch about it.
Right. What do you want? Yeah, exactly.
He'll be crying. Next, what do we got here next here? Appreciate it, Tank. Appreciate you.
Shout out to James Green. Thank you so much. James, you submitted 2 of them. Oh, he also says over 42-10. Shout out. Thank you, James. But 42-10, that's an absolute domination.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be shocked. Would we beat him in the playoffs last year? What was that?
It was pretty bad.
I mean, it was a complete just destruction.
Yeah.
But all right, let's get into this playoff.
Did we get to this last one? Did we already do this one? Oh, yeah, we did. Okay, cool.
You got all of them.
All right, let's do it. Let's talk about this graphic real quick, and then we'll do the playoff calculator. But I just want to put this up to kind of set the table for this conversation. DK, if you want to throw this up here for me. So this is the AFC playoff picture. I think it's a pretty cool job that ESPN did. Some telling stuff here. You can see the percentages for each team to make the playoffs, win the division, earn a bye, and make the Super Bowl. Of course, here we're focused on the Ravens, but it's fun to look at the other teams as well. So really quickly before we go on these, talk to the Ravens. Can you, DK? You cut it off? You don't have the Bengals, huh? Yeah. So quietly, the Bengals still need a lot to happen, but I think they have a 15% chance now of making the playoffs.
They need a lot, but
yeah,
it could happen.
Need a lot. It could happen, and I think that the Bengals are more dangerous than the Chargers and the Broncos, in my opinion.
Dude, if they sneak in, bro,
and play the Buffalo Bills the first week,
whew, nobody's gonna want to see them sneak in, bro. Nobody.
No, absolutely not. But I also want it noted here that the Ravens have the third. There's only really 3 teams that the odds makers see coming out of that really the Texans no chance, the Steelers no chance, the Chargers no chance, the Broncos no chance. Really, the Chiefs at 29% making the Super Bowl, the Bills at 26%, and the Ravens at 22%. I think that this is interesting.
It's pretty solid.
And it's also important to note that now the Chiefs have something to play for in the Steelers game. They want that bye. They want that road to go through Kansas City. They don't want to go on the road. They don't want to do all that madness. So they need to win. And that is fortunate for us because I think that fact in and of itself is playing out in these odds because the Ravens now have the better likelihood of winning the division than the Pittsburgh Steelers were at 53%. They're at 47 because the script could flip and Buffalo still has a chance at the number 1 seed.
Yeah, very slim, but it still exists.
Yeah.
Certainly they need, I think the Kansas City would have to lose out and Buffalo win out for them to earn the bye. But yeah, I think the biggest thing there is it's pretty clear who odds makers think is just a fraud at this point, and that's Houston and Pittsburgh. I mean, they are nothing more than a team with good records, but not a team that at all is anticipated to make any sort of run in the playoffs. I would love to see the Ravens somehow avoid having to beat both, but at the same time, wouldn't it feel all the better if they had to go through both Buffalo and then go to Kansas City, beat both of them in a similar way in which Flacco had to go at Denver and beat Peyton Manning, then go at New England and beat Tom Brady? I mean, it really
that's how I want it to be.
Right. It couldn't be any better because here's the thing. If Lamar is able to, if somehow Lamar doesn't have to play either one of those, especially if he doesn't have to play Pat Mahomes, I don't want to hear the asterisk they're going to put next to his Super Bowl because they're going to do it. That'll be the thing they focus on. Oh, well, he didn't have to beat both the guys. So as much as I want him and the Ravens to not have to do both, I want them to have to do both, and I want to beat both their asses in their own backyard.
I love it, Glenn. And that's how I want it to be. And I will say this, I already said on the show, unfortunately, I think the Bills lose first round because I think they're not as
best. The Charger, who do you think?
Well, the thing is,
we got to pull it up.
Well, yeah. Let me pull up the machine here. The machine.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So my wife calls me.
Oh gosh.
That art
family
might have been made up. That might have been made up.
Wait. There we go. Hold on. What happened, DK? There we go.
What the hell happened?
Sorry, I got confused because it said
Stop
remove.
yelling at DK, dude.
No. I was just confused. Anyway, thank you. He's like, let me just do my job. Calm down and sit down and shut up. Just give me a second. Okay. All right. So let's walk through this. We did week 16. Let's go to week 17. Who wins this game, Glenn?
We got to zoom in a little bit here.
My bad.
Who wins the game? Kansas City wins the game.
Yeah.
By the way, Hollywood is back.
Yeah, he's back. Do you think anyway, I don't really care about the NFC right now.
Who cares?
Let's just roll through this. Sure. Chargers win out. Colts win out. I'm putting this
on my parlay here. So be careful.
What about this right here? Broncos, Bengals.
Ooh, Bengals.
Think so?
Dude,
all right, Bengals.
They're playing well.
Yeah, they are. What about this one? Who cares? Whatever.
Yeah.
Two terrible teams.
Doesn't matter. They're both eliminated. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So after the end of this week, if we think it plays out as we do, with that being the Chargers winning, the Broncos losing, and us the Steelers losing, us winning, we are now the 3rd seed, and we officially are the driver's seat for the AFC North. And in fact, I think even if we lose, we'll do it in a second. But I think even if we lose that last game, the Pittsburgh Steelers win, I think we would still win the division. Maybe not, actually. I think we have to stay a full game ahead of them. Anyway, all that being said is we would play the Chargers again. I'm not super thrilled about this matchup, but they just don't have the firepower to keep up. They just simply don't at this point.
As it stands right here, though, Jimbo, who would you most root for to play and then hope that Buffalo has to play in the first round?
I like this.
You like it? You like Denver going to
Buffalo? I think that Buffalo is going to struggle with both of those teams because Denver's defense is just really good.
Yeah.
And coach, oh my gosh, how am I forgetting?
Peyton.
He's an offensive guy with a really good defense, so he can do enough, and he's done enough to really make that offense get as much out of it as he can. Right. Yeah. So, but I also think that the Chargers are just the best of the league at mucking it up.
Mm-hmm.
They're like an unorthodox fighter to me. You know what I mean? They really just do a lot to muck it up and limit the score, and then may the best man win there at the end of the game. So I don't think either matchup is great for them. I'm not concerned. I like this as it is. I'd rather play the Chargers, I think, than the Broncos.
Yeah. I agree.
And so I like this as it is. Now, and then of course Pittsburgh and Houston.
In the who cares game of the week.
Right. But let's go to this last one, Glenn.
Yeah.
Because this is important. Broncos Chiefs, who wins this one?
I think at that point the Chiefs might have it all sealed up. Do they play anyone? I think the Broncos win because I don't think
all right.
Chiefs care.
And it doesn't move. Ooh. Look at that. So if they win out.
Now
let's go over here. Yeah. So let's go over here.
I wouldn't mind beating the brakes off the Steelers once more and then make it. Oh, that'd be a fun game to go to, Jimbo.
That would be a real fun. Now, what happens here?
Bengals win, dude.
Bengals win it?
Yes.
Okay. So, look, if the Steelers go 1-3 in this stretch, right now they're 1-2. No, sorry. In the 4-game stretch, 1-3. What? They're 0-2? Yeah, they lost the Eagles and lost us, right?
Yeah.
So, if they go 0-4.
Oh.
They go 0-4, limping into the playoffs.
Just so they could literally have lost out and they'll still make the playoffs. Wow.
Yeah, they're guaranteed a playoff spot. Correct.
Oh, I guess so. Even 2 weeks ago, they were guaranteed, I guess.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Because they've done nothing but loss. Wow. That's amazing. Okay. Now, let me ask you this. Would you prefer the Chiefs or the Chargers or the Steelers at home in the first round? Who you rather play?
Oh, I'd rather see the Chargers.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I have to agree. But but think of this run. You beat the Steelers, then you beat the Bills, then you beat the Chiefs.
Oh, it would be glorious, right?
Oh man.
Just vanquish all the demons at once, right? Like slay all the dragons at once.
Yes. And then who would you want out of the NFC? Who would be the biggest?
I don't care. The only team that makes me nervous on the NFC is the Eagles.
Well, then I guess we have to beat them because they already beat us. So then we beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Let's go, dude.
That would be a mark.
Now, this is going to be a big game. Who do you think wins this last game? Because if the Vikings win, they jump to the number 1 seed.
That's a good one. I think the Vikings do win.
Yeah.
I like the Vikings in that game, only because the injuries for the Lions are starting to mount up a little bit, man. It's kind of a shame to watch how they're just getting decimated at the end of the season, but
now let's go back over here though and say that
Montgomery, that hurt losing Montgomery, bro. That dude's a warrior.
Yeah. So look, if the Steelers do eke out a win against the Bengals, which I won't be surprised if they do, but at the end of the day, what are they playing for? They're playing for a game against the Texans or a game against us.
I think well then that's a huge game. And they would much rather go to Houston to play the Texans.
Yeah. Right.
You know, that's the most desirable road matchup. The Texans.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be interesting though. Man, this is going to be really fun the way this thing plays out, Glenn. It's going to be a lot of fun. So the Steelers takeaways are the Steelers could pop all the way down to the 5th seed or 6th seed and end up back at the bank. We could take the division.
Oh man.
Yeah,
and that's so hyped to be in the. Oh boy.
Yeah, absolutely. Or of course they could go to Houston and then we get the Chargers at home. But look, we got to win out, take care of business, get this thing done, and we'll be here right after the game on Christmas in the evening to talk about it, to hopefully celebrate a great Christmas Day and a win by the Baltimore Ravens. But that's it for us tonight, folks. It is way past my bedtime, so we're gonna get out of here before I say anything reckless. But we'll see you soon. Yeah, good one.
Yeah.